Today is Veterans Day, November 11th, 2024. Happy Veterans Day, everybody, at 5:30 here in the Ed Bosch Freilich meeting room. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
None.
Okay, hearing none. At this point, we'll open it up to any public communication from visitors. I think most people are here as part of an agenda item that will speak later. We'll close that portion of the meeting. Can we look to approve the minutes from our last meeting, October 14th, 2024, regular meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the October 14th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Melhoff,
Second.
second by Commissioner Scott. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. All right, item number one, we have the Mandan Kiwanis Club here and many representatives here to continue to sponsor Mandan Park District activities and what we do here, and they've been great supporters. Karen Rohr is here. Karen, past president from the Kiwanis Club, is here. Karen, do you want to talk?
Good evening, everyone. Karen Rohr, past president of the Mandan Kiwanis Club, and it's my honor this evening to present to the Mandan Park District a total of $14,560, and $6,000 of this was for tennis, and $8,560 for baseball. And these are my colleagues. Do I need to start over now?
No, yeah, I think we got you.
Okay, I just indicated that we donated a total of $14,560 to the Mandan Park District, $6,000 for tennis, and $8,560 for baseball. And I also want to introduce my colleagues to my left here from Mandan Kiwanis Club. We've got Governor-elect Carroll. We have Todd Humphrey, former president. Jackie Hall is our president-elect. Gene Kautzman, board member. Jim Freilich, everybody knows Jim, board member as well. And then his son Christian is here as well. So thank you again.
No, thank you. We appreciate every time you come and present a check, obviously, and support, I guess, for most of us up here, support the youth programs in our district and along with everything else. So with that, it's great to see that we get your continued support for baseball and now some tennis. So we do appreciate that. Anything else, board?
It is our pleasure to support all of you as well.
It's such a joy to see you guys tonight, being a former Kiwanian and actually a past president as well. But just the support we get from you, no matter what the youth activity is greatly appreciated. So thank you again for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item number two, update on our golf maintenance building. It looks like we had some hiccups here, Cole, that maybe we can and can't overcome, but you want to...
Correct. So President Meskey and Commissioners, late last week, we were notified that we were required to raise the building about 2 feet of the proposed area. You have an item or attachment in your packet, just kind of gives you an aerial of the south end of the golf course near our cold storage building that we were looking at. And so as we dug into this, we were hoping tonight to come before you for approval to advertise for bids and open bids in March, or excuse me, in open bids in March, award in April to proceed with construction with the building. As the new information came to light with us about getting it out of the floodplain, we thought we were out of the floodplain, but the city's requiring us an additional 2 feet to be raised. You saw some of the slopes in the attachment in there and just kind of put us at a halt, I guess is what I would say. So plan B is to have a Teams call due to the Veterans holiday today. We weren't able to. We had a quick conference call, couldn't get everybody on it this morning. So we're meeting tomorrow morning. We're going to look at potentially all the options on this site again. The downside to this site, obviously, as you see how far they've moved it to the east, is it brings it into play of the golf course. And then obviously the elevations that's going to make it be above the road and then, and the cold storage buildings you see to the south. Unfortunately, it just kind of gives us a 3-to-1 slope coming into our building, into our parking lot. And it just didn't really make either one of us, excited to spend this kind of dollars and not have a kind of an area that we like. So we're going to look at potentially expanding the current maintenance building that we're operating out of today, and just have a discussion about if we were to knock it out, the north end of the building, how can we address storage needs? How can we address golf cart storage needs in the future? And is this the right spot, location, cost efficiently? And hopefully bring something back to you next month as far as a direction that we plan on going. So it's very preliminary due to the lateness of last week and the long weekend, Friday being a national unofficial holiday for deer opener. A lot of the subcontractors weren't accessible, and then obviously Veterans Day. So we did have a quick conversation. I don't have any more information than that to share with you. The difficult part is that we were, like I said, mentioned earlier, is we were trying to get to bid. One thing I wanted to bring into discussion is if we were to build to the south down here, like we've talked about, the other option would be raising the road so that we'd have a level parking lot driveway when you come into the approach to your building, which we know cost efficiently from the north to the south end is a long gravel road. Dollars just don't make sense to spend at that time, so that was one solution. We even looked further south to get almost by hole number 6 T-box to kind of see how that area of land would look. It is out of the floodplain. Unfortunately, the size of the footprint of the building, things that we would have, just doesn't make it adequate. We'd have to end up moving a T-box, probably removing that tree that's in between 5 green and 6 T-box, and push the T-box over to the east, which now brings tee shots from hole number 5 onto the T-box at proposed number 6. So a lot of moving parts, I guess what I'm trying to say. Hopefully next month we'll have a direction what we're going with.
Is the current building in the floodplain now? The current building that we have, the cold storage building there?
No, it's not.
Okay. And we can't go any direction from there if we attached it to there. Just, you didn't feel comfortable?
To the existing building?
Well, I mean, to the cold storage building that's down there now to keep it out. And I notice we have spaces between the two. Is that?
Yeah, so unfortunately, we're not able to tie into it. We're going to be 2 feet higher than that. And that's where that 3-to-1 slope comes in. And then we have the drain field to the southeast of that building. And that was because we can't connect to sanitary services. So we're too far away from any type of public services. So we're able to have a drain field and a septic tank. And so to do that, you have to have it, obviously the building higher than the septic tank for it to drain properly. And then have an area of land that's not going to be impacted by the golf area where carts and things that will be driving over it. So we're very limited in the space down there. I thought the concept made sense. We thought originally we could push the building further to the west as much as we could because we were told we were far enough away from the toe of the levee. But as we know, we're going through the levee process here at Mandan Municipal. Some things have changed, and they're in the accreditation process. So I'm hoping to bring more information back to you next month.
Cole, would this affect any more parking on that other side of the building?
So that is a crucial need, obviously, is parking. So if whatever we end up doing at the existing shop, we want to make sure if we were to impact any type of parking that we'd have to be able to replace it. There is an area in the center when you come into the golf course that is not paved today. That's something that we could look at, or we can extend the parking that we have on the north side of the current shop further to the north and push it out to the curb and maybe remove some of those old cottonwood trees and things of that nature there as an option. But we do not want to lose parking spots. That's correct.
Anything else for Cole? Okay, thank you, Cole. All right, moving on to item number 3. Jamie Wetch is back here with us. I don't know, Tyler, were you here last time? I don't.
Tyler's not here. This is Colin.
This is Colin. Okay, I got Tyler written down here.
Tyler ended up decided he had to go out of town.
Okay.
So he graciously left me in command.
Well, thanks for coming back, Jamie. Your last presentation, I think we're all kind of wondering how we'd proceed with this. So, if you just want to give us a quick rundown again, or present any new material that you have for the group, that'd be great.
Let's see if this somehow will wake up and. They've got the screenshots, right? Okay, yeah, I guess if you want to put them up there, then we just talk about price, because, yeah, it doesn't look like this is gonna. Okay, so this summer we have been engaging Pump Tracks, which is the company that is working on Minot's, and to my knowledge, they still actually haven't started Minot's pump track yet, but we've gone ahead and we sent them aerial shots of the land and drawings and talked about kind of what we wanted, and they actually came back with kind of a multifaceted approach when they looked at the slope that was there, and they suggested a few more features instead of just doing a pump track. They thought there was more features up there. So what you're seeing there on the screen, on the left side of that would be the current paved path that comes down the hill to kind of set your perspective. So this would be kind of west looking east towards Lions Park. So the line that is immediately to the right of that paved path is what they're calling a jump line. So it uses the natural slope of the terrain, and they put some tabletop like BMX track style jumps on there, and that then ends down in the pump track. So that was one feature they suggested adding. The one that's kind of in the middle and to the right that's hid by the trees a little bit down the hill, so that's a skills course. So one thing when you're looking at building up your skills before you hop on trails is riding over bridges, riding over logs, any other obstacles that you might see. So what a skills course is a kind of a specifically designed managed introduction for beginning riders to kind of help build your skills before you quote unquote see it out in the wild. It gives you an opportunity to go ahead and practice that stuff before you just see it out on the trail. It kind of makes your barrier of entry a lot easier, just to kind of get things figured out. So that line also ends up at the pump track. You can see the two paved areas that go into the pump track. So the bigger area that is on the right side of that picture is the pump track. And so the jump line and the skills area end up in the pump track, and you can access the pump track separately without going through any of those other features. And so it creates kind of a nice big riding area and uses a chunk of land that's essentially a hillside that gets mowed. And I think there's some, so that's a little bit flatter 3D rendering of it. So on the left side of that image is the jump line. So you can see those BMX style jumps that you'd use coming down the hill. The middle section, the 3D renderings look a little bit too cartoonish when you look at them, but I don't know that we would probably put a pipe on there like that, but you can see that there's the middle line in there, the kind of white looking blocks would be stones. The one to the left of that's brown, that would be like a wooden boardwalk for people to ride over. They would be fairly low obstacles, because again, what you're trying to do is get people's confidence built. You're not going to throw them on a bridge 4 feet in the air and be like, okay, go learn. So most of this stuff is seen as fairly safe and a way to increase your skills without having like a high danger factor to it. And then over on the way right-hand side, you actually see they have a pile of logs, which is, again, a little bit kind of a cartoonish representation of it. I think we've got a nice, is there a flatter pump track one? Okay, that one should work. I wonder. Yeah, that one you can kind of see there if you picture it from a flatter perspective. So the left side of that image would be the east, the right side would be going up the hill to the west. And so really to put it in perspective, again, the pump track is essentially, an asphalt track with dips and peaks in it that you practice riding and trying not to pedal, essentially, is what it is. So those are the 3D renderings that they came up with. So what we asked Pump Tracks was for a phased approach, knowing that this project would come in way over what we had intended for just the pump track itself. So they came back and said it would not be a problem to phase anything in. So when we would look at doing the pump track as the first phase of the project, it makes the most sense to it. And is actually, of the three that are there, it's the largest of the features. So what they came back with for a price-wise for the pump track was $180,000, which includes the stone base material under the asphalt, machinery, rental, travel, and labor to get everything installed and put in. They have a few additional features that when we get up here that could be added. So some of the individual features to it could be added and changed depending on what we make a decision when they start building. The jump line would be about $130,000. Same concept, stone-based material, asphalt, machinery, rental, travel, and labor included in that price. The skills course includes stone-based material, asphalt, machinery, rental, travel, labor, and about 15 or so skills to make on the site, or they can be purchased. There are companies around that, less maintenance-wise, you can build rollers out of straight wood, pressure treat, or you can build them out of metal. There would be less maintenance to those. So those are kind of things that they can add, but they're basically saying for this layout, we'll give you 15 features and we would get the choice to pick those out. So for phase one of the pump track at $180,000, what we were looking at for funding would be using a North Dakota RTP grant, Recreational Trails Program, federal highway dollars that's administered by North Dakota State Parks. And that is an 80-20 match. So they'd be looking at a 20% local match or $36,000. And that would be our local match. So what we would be asking would be if the Park District would be interested in going half with us. We would commit to half of it, but what we would actually prefer to do would be, let's say, term it as up to half, because we would like the opportunity to do fundraising against the Park District's half. Or I shouldn't say the Park District's half, against the total local match in general. And then our intent would be, as the future went and we looked at finances and donations and that, we would be looking at completing these grants. The good thing about the RTP grants is you are allowed to go after the grant multiple times. So the grant itself has a $250,000 limit. So it actually works out better for us to phase it in, because it actually gives us the opportunity to go after more grant funding rather than just having a larger part of a local match. So in subsequent years, we would look at going after the grant in multiple phases to build the other sections out.
Do you know, Jamie, did Minot and the other pump tracks, did they get that grant in the state? Or Cole,
that I don't know. When we talked to pump tracks, we were under the assumption that they would actually be up there working on it this summer, but that did not happen. So I don't actually know what the holdup on Minot's pump track is. Okay. But as far as I know, pump tracks wasn't actually up there that year or this year, because they didn't. We told them that if they decided to swing through that, we would like to invite the park board up there to everybody take a look at the piece of ground, but they never did come up to North Dakota this year. So.
Cole, I got a question. Is because it's going to be bigger than what we talked about in the beginning, is that going to affect anything with the land out there, with as far as federal land? Do we have to worry about that?
So the Sunset Park, as you mentioned, was purchased with Land and Water Conservation. We're not selling any of the land. We're just repurposing it into a more recreational opportunities. So there is no restrictions associated with that land. And just to add, I did reach out to the city of Mandan, talked to Jarrett Wegness, their city engineer, just talked about Division Street being extended, any concerns or anything related with this, and he said no at this time. So if the road were to go through, it should not impact anything. It sounds like if a road was to happen, it would go south of the skate park, around the backside of what you refer to as Davenport Hill.
And the other question I have is, and I know Dustin brought it up when we had our first meeting, I want to make sure, even when we extended, will we have any worries about water problems or anything? Are we going to make sure that's all taken care of?
We did specifically bring that up, Dustin's concern up with pump tracks, and they didn't foresee a problem with it. The east end of the facility, the good thing about pump tracks is your corners are banked, like there's no flat corners on it. So as the pump track makes a circle around that hill, it would just be built such a way that so there's essentially a curb right there. So there wouldn't be, because we told them the concern of it was we didn't want to invite water to be running through the pump track, but they didn't foresee a problem with that.
And Jamie, can you remind me the age group that we're dealing with here? Are we doing from 1-year-olds to 80-year-olds basically?
Yeah, essentially there's really no age limit on these things. We've seen 3-year-old kids on Strider bikes, the bikes that don't have any pedals on them that they just run along with. We've seen kids that age on them, to basically anybody that feels safe riding a bike. So yeah, there's really not a targeted age group for it. Okay. It's all ages.
All right. And on the plans for the other part of it, That's for off-road bike riding?
It would help you build skills in that area, definitely. The skills track for sure. If you've ever been out on a mountain bike trail, actually either Sunset Park, the rest of the mountain bike trail that's up there, Harmon Lake, Fort Lincoln, whatever. A lot of cases, there's a lot of natural bedrock in the trail. There's bridges and that, and it's a safer environment if you want to get to some point where you feel safe on those trails, or even venturing out to the west side of Sunset Park where that 4-mile mountain bike trail is, rather than coming around a corner, let's say on the west end of Sunset, where there's probably a 2-foot wide bridge on the other side of that slough. So you kind of shoot down a hill, and all of a sudden there's a hard left with a bridge on it, and it goes over the slough, and you're going to take about a 3-foot drop if you miss the bridge. So the good thing about practicing a bridge on here, the thing's not very far off the ground. So if you got off to the side, you could just ride off the bridge and it wouldn't be a problem. And the goal on that is, when you do tackle some of the off-road trails into town, it hopes to get you the skills in a more controlled environment. And the jump lines, I don't even know that I would probably do the jump line. I think it takes a certain person that's looking for that adrenaline rush. That, me personally, I'm safer with my tires on the ground.
Thank you, Jamie.
Jamie, on phase 2 and 3, if we were to get the grant, the RTP grant, initially, is there any prior experiences with it? Where do we know what the chances of us getting additional grant dollars the second year or third year?
I've built 20 miles of mountain bike trail out at Harmon Lake using RTP grants 3 times. So I've, and each one of those times I've gone after 250,000. I've gone after the max. So if, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the SCORP, State Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan. So the RTP board, when they meet, they take a look at all the projects and basically look at what each quadrant in the state states as something that they're looking forward to, and that helps that board gauge where they rank the projects. Would we get funded? We would obviously hope so. Is there a guarantee to that? Obviously not. Things like this are kind of new. I think it stands a very, very good chance of getting funded. More so than, say, just, we want a paved trail, somewhere nondescript. So, but no, I've had good luck with going back to RTP many times and getting fully funded each time.
Thank you.
To piggyback on that, Commissioner Scott, so to apply for that grant, do you need anything more than what that you presented tonight? Do we need to get some surveyors out there? I mean, is there going to be some upfront costs that we need to do before you apply for that? The renderings that you have?
I can answer that. Cole could answer it. I mean, you have to prove that you have clear title of the land. They would want something in the minutes of the meeting stating that the funds are available to apply. So, if a motion is made that says, okay, with the public providing half and parks providing up to half, because they would want some proof when you send your grant in, that they want to see in the minutes that you have clear title of land, and also that you have funds available to do it, because they want that available regardless of if they fund you or not.
So at $180,000, you said around 18,000 would be.
Yep, because 20%, 36,000. If we half it between the groups, would be 18,000.
Okay. So basically, if we make a motion to let you go ahead, we're committing to roughly $18,000.
Yep. In the worst case scenario, if nobody wanted to give anything fundraising wise, it would be 18,000. And that's based on their bid, obviously, best we have to work off of. And you do provide the bid, with the packet for RTP, and that's what all your funding's based off of anyway. We could, if we wanted to, build a 10% contingency in, but.
Cole, I asked this Friday, and I'm going to ask it again. Will this affect anything from our strategic plan for budgeting and stuff like that?
As far as financially impacting the park district, no, it will not. It'll only enhance the district as a whole. And we've had good success with RTP grants. And, Jamie Wetch is spot on. That SCORP is scored high. Every 5 years we go through this SCORP evaluation. We score multi-purpose trails and outdoor recreation as an opportunity for growth. So yeah, it will score high on the ranking. Obviously, we don't know who we're competing with in grants, but I support this project, and I think the local match of the local 20% sharing that 50% is a good move for both the Park District and the Central Dakota. That's what you want to be called, right? Central Dakota cyclists. Okay.
I would agree. Yeah.
I'm going to make the recommendation, if that's okay with you guys. I approve the Central Dakota cyclists applying for the recreational trail program grant with local match shared by 50-50 between Park District and the user group. And I want to make special thanks to Jamie for even bringing this up.
We have
Tyler Huber, Ian Easton, Colin Kemasad as well.
we have a motion by Commissioner Mutter,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Freilich. Any further discussion? Okay. Commissioner Mutter,
Aye.
Commissioner Freilich,
Aye.
Commissioner Milhoff,
Aye.
Commissioner Scott.
Aye.
Yes, from me as well.
Thank you very much. We will keep you posted. We'll go ahead and I'll be in contact with Cole, and because technically the RTP application comes from Mandan Park District, it has to be a political subdivision that applies for it. But we'll work with, both of us have done RTP grants independently, so it won't be a problem. And most everything that they'll need on that would be the 3D renderings and such. So we'll work together and get that grant submitted, and we'll cross our fingers.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 4, presentation of the new app for Park District facilities and programs. Hi, Kelly.
Oh, good evening. I'm here today to give you an update on the Mandan Park District phone application. Tyra Ripple and I in our office started this process earlier in October. Basically, the goal of this app is basically threefold for the goals. To have all of our youth and adult program registration accessible through this app, basically user-friendly medium for patrons to register. The second goal is to have registrations, so reservations through our park shelters and our birthday parties straight from the app. And then the third goal, which was kind of the biggest kind of what Tyra researched on why this app came to be, is to basically have our membership scan-ins through this app. So that's with the Raging Rivers and the Mandan Aquatic Center. So patrons are also able to renew their membership through this program and also purchase their memberships. So with that being said, we launched it this past Thursday to the public, and we're going to continue to market the app through program registrations, email marketing, and just continue that big push through our Raging Rivers Black Friday sale. Also with this app, another really cool thing that I think from the marketing side is you can do push notifications and alerts. So let's say it's raining at baseball, you can send that alert to the specific patron, so you log into your app and that's the first thing that you're going to see. You can also target upcoming registrations. So if you log in, kickball is going on for registration, that's the first thing that you're going to see. We are going to just try to keep on promoting this app, getting people to download it. Once you're logged in, you don't need to log in again, so that kind of takes kind of a more user-friendly approach, so you don't need to keep logging in. You don't need to call us if you forget your password. So overall, it's a learning curve for us, but we believe it's going to be best for the Park District and for our patrons. Yes.
And there's a link to golf tee times, too.
Yes.
Don't forget to say that.
Yes.
That's first thing. Well, first thing I checked, I guess, but yeah.
Yep. And then Tyra and I did create the app ourselves. So again, if we see that a button is not getting clicked on, we can track that in our reportings and we can switch things around. Or if there's an upcoming registration, we're going to make sure that the patron sees that first. So again, kind of a learning curve for us, but we're going to, get feedback from our patrons and basically make the app what they want it to be.
So how long have you had it up, Kelly? I know that when you sent it out or whatever, I downloaded it, but do we have a lot of people that have downloaded it, and we run into...
Yeah, in our registration, so we have summer MAC registrations going to be starting in December. So the coordinator, Sierra, sent that out to her patrons, just saying, this is how we're going to register. We strongly recommend you download this app, kind of get ready to register, and we're going to do the same for Black Friday. When I left on Friday, there's about 100 people that have downloaded it. So we're just slowly trying to get those in, people's email box and again, we've had some feedback and we're changing things as we go. So we're open to that.
If other people besides me have like 2 accounts floating around out there, what's the best way to do that? I mean, should you combine them, like you said, to log in once? Like I get multiple emails because I think I have.
Sure. Yep.
What's
So
the best way to handle that? So
that you're right, that does happen a lot because people forget their password and then they create another account. We can always merge those households together. So if you do give me a call in the office, I can do that quick for you, and then I can send you your password too, just so you just have one account. And again, you don't need to log in again.
Kelly, can you use it on an iPad?
Yes, you sure can.
I have a question for Cole because I see the fiscal impact of $4,020 annually. Is some of that because the golf course and the Raging Rivers is on there? Are we taking some of that off their budget, or is it all coming out of Kelly's budget?
I can answer that. Half of it's coming out of my budget, and then the other half is for Raging Rivers. We really see that this is going to be a huge benefit for Raging Rivers. What we've done in the past for Raging Rivers, we had a scan-in system where there's longer lines. If you've been through it, you know what we're talking about, redeeming your season pass right when it opens in May. This is going to speed it up. You're going to be able to walk up with your phone, scan in, and it's going to be a quick and easy access. So we really do see that the Raging Rivers patrons will be using this app a lot.
And Scott for golf.
Yes, in golf.
all right, any other questions for Kelly? Looks very easy to use. Excited to give it a try. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, we'll move on to item number 5, construction updates of the boat ramp, the baseball complex, and Mandan Muni.
President Miskey, Commissioners, drove down the boat ramp here this morning, or this afternoon before the meeting. They got a lot more done than I anticipated when I left on Friday. Parking lot's about 80% done. Should have it done, I would say, by the end of next week, as long as the weather holds off. The actual ramp itself, or the boat ramp, is installed. It's been poured about 2 weeks ago, fully cured. They just poured the apron into the parking lot from the street. The actual gate to prevent access to the facility once the facility is up and running has been installed. The only really things that we're waiting on is just the electric, which we knew was going to be last anyways. They've ran all their conduit. There's really no reason why we shouldn't be substantially completed with the boat ramp. I'm thinking by the end of November, as long as weather holds off. They're moving very quickly. As you saw, or you see in the agenda document with you, there are some things that we have left to just kind of add that we hear. Signage, obviously a sign for the boat ramp with all parties, city, county, and park district will be in there. That's going to be added. The boat dock has been applied for through state parks. They don't accept applications till February, and then we find out if we're notified for a matching grant with them. If we aren't funded through the grant, obviously we're going to have to purchase one outright from them. That's been submitted. The ADA picnic table and covered shelter has been ordered and hopefully will be delivered here sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks. If it's ready and the weather allows, we will install it. Otherwise, we'll wait till spring. Again, 2 benches for shore fishing. We did get a request about some ADA shore fishing opportunities. We have not looked into that ADA needs, what that would include. There's been some information shared with us about an ADA lift that gets you into a boat. We are not adding that at this time. We're not sure of all the costs associated with that and location as far as where that would go. Doesn't mean we can't look at it in the future if that's something that is a need, but that has been brought to us through some of our social media comments and some emails I received. In your packet is a copy of one of the vault toilets. Tim Nielsen from County Parks, he works with this group out of South Dakota. Very efficient toilet system instead of having porta potties. It's basically a vault system that we'd have to get pumped out. I think it's a 1,000-gallon vault toilet that gives us the opportunity to probably pump it out once or twice a year and then shut them down for the winter with no water in there. Nice avenue for us to use. And then we are looking at a bridge connecting both the south and the north side of the properties. We got estimates from that. Just had a conference call this afternoon with A2S with Jesse. Estimates have come in quite a bit lower than originally talked about. We met with 2 crane companies. They would love to be able to get that bridge in this winter when the ground is froze with the crane. The structural engineer is what we really are trying to work on between now and end of the year with freeze up, is can we get the abutments and the structural needs as far as concrete poured and in place before freeze up happens, and then we can actually install that bridge, between now and freeze up, or spring thaw, excuse me. So in a perfect world, we want to get that concrete in as soon as possible, which probably we're getting structural hopefully back by the end of the week, and see if we can able to get that done. And we would just amend the contract with Prairie View and Excavating to get that implemented. Any questions on the boat ramp at this time?
I did see this, there was a story on the news tonight about the boat ramp. That was kind of nice to see, get it out there a little bit. And then the only question I had for you, Cole, is I know when we had the visitors here the one night, one of the things that was brought up was signage showing that there's really no turnaround access once you get beyond the entrance. Is that part of the signage that you're talking about, or what are you thinking there?
No, so the signage I'm talking about is just more recognition of a Park District facility as far as our address and our hours of the actual boat ramp. But as you go to the north, there is an actual sign, not a through street, that's already in place there today. And we worked with Public Works. If we need to add additional, we definitely can. We are working with the city, though, as far as turn lanes from their the red and black signs. I can't think of the word right now that they use them. Throughout the community, we are looking at trying to add a boat ramp to one of those so they understand, take it Mandan Avenue and use that entrance, not go by Culver's and try to stay away from the residential areas. So it is more efficient to come through Mandan Avenue and then.
Oh, way more efficient. People that use that all the time will never go by Culver's.
So we're hoping that we can redirect them through our destination signs.
It's another 5 minutes. I mean, you got to go all the way around there. So
Oh, it's been a great
the other
project.
thing, like Commissioner Scott said, we don't have lights up there yet. I know there's not a lot of residents right close by there, but are we making sure that those lights aren't shining?
Yep, there'll
out
be
into
one on the.
roads and keeping it still somewhat, dark as far as what the roads and things like
We
that.
have two lights, one by the ramp at the top of the parking lot that before it crests to the ramp down to the water side. There is one at that end, and there's one on the west end near the approach. So we're able to have them shining to the parking lot. We did not put one in the middle at this time. We definitely can add as it allows and needs, but we think with the gate and just the opportunities that we have down there has definitely cleaned it up. Even with the trees being removed and now the leaves being off, it's definitely opened up a lot more security measures in place.
Cole, on the fish cleaning station, was Tim looking at a sponsor for that or something?
So we've had some information from some businesses that have been showed interest in putting in a fish cleaning station. The difficult part that we're running into is not that we don't want a fish cleaning station, but in order to connect a fish cleaning station, we have to tie into the city water. And the nearest area to connect to city water is to the north. We got a preliminary estimate of about $60,000 to tie in just to the city water. And then the fish clean station's right around $40,000 to $50,000. We're looking at about $100,000 to $110,000 for a fish cleaning station for roughly 90 to 100 days a year. So we're having further discussions. We're not ruling it out. If we wanted to use the water from the Missouri River, that's another permit through the Corps of Engineer that we'd have to apply for. And at this time, we don't want to slow down the process. So if we put a fish clean station in, we have to have somewhere to dispose of, obviously, the items that we're grinding in there.
Thank you.
One item from me, I'm a little nervous putting that bridge in without knowing the parking lot use when it's just for the boat ramp and 40-some boats. My worry is that people using the nature trail will all park up there and limit the boat parking. So I was happy that it was going to go to a future phase so we could get a season of watching the patterns. So
So
a little concerned with that.
and I think Commissioner Malhoff, that is a valid question and a valid concern. The only concern from a funding standpoint is these dollars have to be spent by May of '25. So for order us to wait a full fiscal year to review the access of it, the dollars would go away. I think that we can obviously, people are going to park there, especially this time of year when the boat ramps are closed. People would park there and move over. I can't remember the exact individual stalls, but I want to say it was like 25 individual parking stalls for cars. And then I think there's 45 for the boat and trailers. So hopefully it definitely can maximize each other where they're in the mornings, maybe it's the boaters, and then the afternoons, depending on the time of year. And obviously during the week, I don't think the boat ramp will get used near as much as the weekends. But they still will be able to have the parking on the gravel side, on the south side, that they currently park there today. But you're right, they're going to come to that parking lot and walk across the bridge, especially with the vault toilet.
It'll be cleaner. I would agree with you. So those parking spots, those individuals, they are on that south side of the parking lot?
Yep, they're on the south side facing car bodies.
And there's 20 some?
I believe there's 25.
There was only 8 or 9 to start.
That's
and
what I
then expanded.
thought I remember.
No,
seeing.
you're correct. We did
I'm
expand
probably
that.
thinking of, yeah, that won't be so bad then.
Good point. Youth baseball complex, Cole?
So youth baseball, I was hoping they would be installing turf on Diamond 9 this morning. Unfortunately, they haven't even unwrapped the or paper on the turf today. They unloaded it on Saturday when I was down there. I was excited to know that they showed up. But yeah, unfortunately, they are prepping the stone. I'm hoping we'll see something Monday or Tuesday of this week to get Diamond 9, the turf installed. As we know, turf's the easy part. It's gluing the seams with the temperatures that we have right now. As long as we stay over 40 degrees, we'll be fine. It drops over 40 degrees, then we've got to have a special glue if we decide to go that route. At this point, we haven't chosen to go that route. The daytime temperatures are appropriate. They haven't had any concerns. They finished Diamond 10 about 3 weeks ago. They're still doing some little bit of the black beads getting installed and fine tuning it. They've been over at Bismarck Park finishing their field. And then today, like I said, they had about 8 or 10 guys there working, which is good. Working on the weekends with the weather allowing. So I'm not too concerned on the turf unless the temperatures were to have a drastic drop. I think they should have the turf pretty much installed and glued hopefully by the weekend of next weekend. And then they'll start adding the beads from there. They did it during the cold snap that we had previously on Diamond 10, and there was no concerns with the beads at that time that they can come and brush them in as time allows. But things are moving quick. The fencing down there I would say, is almost 100% done, other than the netting on Diamond 9, as I mentioned before. But other than that, a lot of the fencing has been completed. Backstops are in, which the hoods are always the hardest part. Things are moving very well with that. The only thing that we are a little concerned is that we have not fired up the irrigation systems for Diamonds 11 and 12. Those are still grass fields. They've made the connections. We won't fire the system up until spring. We're still going to monitor that as we go. There's still a few connections. And then as we're backfilling all of the alleyways where the irrigation lines are running, the electrical lines are running, obviously we're going to have all the concrete poured to tie in the sidewalk. So a lot of concrete is still going to get poured between now and then. Other than that, it's been moving rather quick. I think for the pace that we were kind of concerned with the temperatures. The only thing I wanted to add, this was mentioned at our administration portfolio, but BNC National Bank, does have the naming rights, as you can see here, and I'll zoom out. So they do have the naming rights of the field on Memorial Ballpark. When that happened in 2019, they were a major donor, had their name on the field. They negotiated a deal with the Mandan Baseball Club to have their name on Diamond 9, which essentially is the JV field or the mini Memorial Ballpark. And so as you see there, this sign will be placed at the entrance, very similar to the Mandan Tennis Center and Star and Sports Complex, has the same look. It will not be double-sided. Unfortunately, we're going to 45 it to the entrance to kind of tie in with the trees that are in the outfield there. And there's a flagpole that goes above it. But I just wanted to bring to your attention, obviously we're going to still remain at Veterans Memorial Ballpark. That is what the facility is called. But we want BNC National Bank Field. This signage will be paid for by BNC, and then if there's additional amenities that need to be added, that'll be part of the overall construction cost. There's no cost to the Mandan Park District for this, but I just want to bring to your attention how that sign will look and tie in with the rest of our signage throughout the park system. Questions on the youth baseball? It is. And then last, just the Mandan Municipal Golf Course. As you know, I shot some information out regarding that tow trench. I did reach out last week just to kind of get an idea where they're at. Lower Heart Water Resource District is doing additional research, more to the O&M of what it takes to have this tow trench system in place. I think it's a viable option for everybody that minimizes any implications to the golf course. It still allows us to be open. The only concerns we're going to have is just how it will look when it's done, meaning what's the tow trench going to be made out of, the type of stone, what type of fence are we going to have to preserve or prevent the golfers from crossing into that area. You know, I don't want to see a chain link fence, but maybe we can do some type of maintenance, picket fence, so to speak, that kind of gives a little more character to it and at the same time still prevents people from going in there. Not a lot to report on that. Again, as I mentioned, November 26th is our next Lower Heart Water Resource District. As we mentioned last month, Beering Associates did attend the last month's meeting on a Teams call to provide information and concerns, but at this point, we just don't have any direction on what Lower Heart would like to do. So I can't rule out that there will be a large improvement at the golf course at this time, not knowing costs, not knowing O&M, and not really knowing what direction as a board from Lower Hart would like to go.
Cole, what's the deadline from FEMA for doing this?
I think the deadline for Lower Hart's probably been a few months ago, maybe even years that this has been going on for 3 to 10 years. 10 years ago when it first started, 3 years ago was when we were negotiating with the Legion Park. And as I mentioned, they came before us in May of this year, and I hadn't heard anything further since 3 years ago. So I think there's a lot of changes that are happening with the Corps of Engineers, and they're kind of moving the goalpost as far as what needs to get done for improvements and levy requirements for certifications. And it's just kind of taken a while to get that completed.
So we're not going to worry about citizens have to buy flood insurance or anything.
Yeah, so
like
none of the information as far as a direction from the board, we got to get direction from Lower Hart, what they support, and then they'll bring that before the board. So it's really in their court to make a decision on what options they want.
that. Okay, thank you.
I really hope that tow trench system works out. It just seems like that's a good thing for both entities, and and we don't have to shut down that golf course and redo it for 2 years, and we can still protect homes. So, hopefully, do you meet with them, Cole, on the 26th then too? Okay. All right. Any questions on that? Okay. All right. We'll move to item 6, approval of monthly bills.
I'll move to approve the payment of the monthly bills.
Motion by Commissioner Melhoff,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Freilich. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next meeting will be our regular meeting here on December 9th, 2024 at City Hall at 5:30. Do we want any commissioner reports?
I just want to thank Kelly for that what you call it, that app. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because I'm working with 2 different organizations who can't get their software even updated, and the Mandan Park District is moving up in their areas of improving themselves, and I really appreciate that. So thank you guys for doing that.
Do you have anything to add, Cole? Any more reports?
The only other update I wanted to share is Memorial Highway special assessments went out. Just want to let you know, as the Park District, we are in that assessment. We're in Tier 2. We are assessed $35,000 for each site, which is soccer, DCP, and Prairie West Golf Course. So about $110,000, $105,000 that we were assessed. So as you see this development come through with the Park District, we are obviously going to get special assessed. That won't come on until the project is completed. As we know, 2025 is when it will start on the west end and work its way starts on the east end, work its way west. It's going to be an implication to some of our facilities and sites. We've talked to staff already about it as far as how access will be. But coming from the east, going west, it will be a little bit difficult at times, one-lane traffic, but hopefully people can adjust, and it's going to be a good project in the end when we're all said and done. And then just last, as we are updating our strategic plan, I know I've shot it out before. We're in the process of updating that next week with all of the leadership team. And then once we get that to a rough draft, we will send that out. We're probably looking at January to present here to the board as far as a final approval.
Okay, Kelly, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. Yes. So we have our Raging Rivers Black Friday sale coming up. That starts November 25th, which is the Monday before Thanksgiving. And just encourage people to, again, download our app and purchase that way. If for some reason you can't download our app, we always have that on our website as well. And again, any questions, you can feel free to reach out.
Okay. Commissioner Mutter, anything else?
I'm already done. I'm sorry. I just jumped
I
the
didn't know
gun.
if you wanted 2 turns or not, so we're going over. Commissioner Freilich,
No report.
Commissioner Melhoff,
No report.
Commissioner Scott.
No report.
Just wanted to point out, and I don't know if this has been shared with everybody yet, but in our the sales tax in our packet is quite a bit higher than it has been in the year. We did get some good projections and news that was it 27, 28.
Yeah,
Our
so
Starian Sports Complex could be paid off
27.
27 very early. So that's good news. That's good for Mandan. Obviously, that our sales tax continues to rise here in the city and be able to pay for some of those amenities. So, all right. With that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Scott.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Freilich. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.